Hi, my name is David Triguero, and this is my final video presentation for GRC 315. So to start off for Project 1, we did Aesop's Fables and public domain stories. So to start off, we did mind maps of different ones. We had to choose from a wide range of different stuff. So there's the ox and the fly, or the skinny dog and the wolf. The one I decided to go with was the cat and the fox. And I find mind maps really useful to me because they help me get the ideas out fast. And then, so to start off, we did thumbnail sketches. We had to do like at least several quick minute ones, and from those several, we were to choose three that we liked the most, and those three we would continue in like a thumbnail sketch. So those three that I chose are at the bottom, and it's like the story of the fox and the cat. And so for the progress, we had to do like go show that we're working on it still. So here's thumbnail 1, thumbnail 2, and thumbnail 3. For the story is that the cat and the fox are traveling together and they get into bickering fights about food and whatnot. And so the fox thinks the cat thinks so highly of himself that he tells the cat, I know like 100 more tricks than what you know. And the cat says, true, but I know one trick that you don't know. And Fox asks what, and then he gets to show the fox later on when he runs up a tree to escape hunters. Meanwhile, the fox is getting chased by hunters. And then this is my finish for the thumbnails with the fox and the cat. I really wanted it to be from the perspective of the cat, so that's why. And also, I wanted to do like a different approach. I didn't like the progress I was doing, so I changed it up by doing like more of a traditional. And this was fun. And for our next project, we had to do story, sentence, and a title. So we had to make a story for a character or from an upcoming project we had to work on. So mine was Fiend. It's a prideful detective possessed by a vengeful demon, must protect innocent civilians from an outbreak of demon possessions in New York while fighting with his morals. And this brings us to like the next assignment, which was the professional illustrator presentation, by which I did Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane was big like in the comic industries because he worked with Spider-Man, he co-created Venom, and he reinvented the webbing for Spider-Man and all that. And he's also one of the co-founders for Image Comics, which is I'm pretty sure many of you have heard of like Invincible or The Walking Dead. And this is his work with Spider-Man, and he's really good artist, and especially with his details, the amount of details he puts into his work. For our assignment, character designs, drawings, and color, we had to do a character lineup, but first we had to do it in black and white values. So these are my characters: Eric Muniz. Eric Muniz, a detective who's 5'11", then Ray Steele, a police captain who's 6'2", and then Marcel Muniz, Eric's deceased twin brother, 4'2". I mean, you can't have a hero without trauma somewhere in there. And then character design finished with color. This is my final character lineup with color. And then there's the environmental design. For this assignment, we had to create like a space that we think our characters can be in from our fictional world. And this is how I imagine Eric and Marcel's early childhood, because they're twins. So I imagine them, and I can imagine like Marcel like in the corner of the bed, cooped up. And this one was fun too. This one I was able to like understand perspective better. It was challenging though. And then there's the comic book drawings, lettering, and finish. So for this one, we had to sketch out like our comic panels and all that, and we had to add our text bubbles, the ones we're going to use. And so I used a comic fighter bold font for this. So this is the work I did with that. And for the progress, I outlined it more so to get the shapes better, and I kind of changed up the sound effects at the bottom. And I was just outlining it to get it ready for traditional inking, so I could print it out. And then this is the finished layout. I really like how this turned out. Here you can see like all the action. Have been able to put like the Book Fiend issue #1, page 36. That's just a placeholder page. Illustrated and written by David Trigueiro. It has all the details on it, and I really like how it turned out. The brick wall was the trickiest part. And then we also had to do a splash page for the assignment, and this was the splash page. I wanted to do like a monochromatic color scheme, so that's why it's like a bit more red, like red with like grays and blacks and whites. And then there's sculptures, drawing, armature, sculpt, and finish. So for this one, we could do like our comic character that we did, or a new character in general. I decided to do the comic character because why not? So here's Eric. He's standing. I have him like lines drawn to make sure I get his proportions like accurate each time. And for the um, sculptor armature progress, um, what's it called? It was fun because I got a chance to. Well, I basically got a chance to wire and stuff to get a pose that I wanted. For baking, this turned out too. It was cool to see the clay harden. It's scary too because I dropped it and I broke the fingers and I had to put super glue over it. But what's funny is that I dropped it again. The only fingers that didn't break, the fingers that I didn't super glue. So that's ironic. And it's baked. And then you have the finished sculpture that's baked. It's all here, all the details. Solid. Here's it painted. Was my favorite. The character has a lot of blacks, a lot of dark colors. So in order to contrast, I decided to go like a glossy coat over the jacket to make it more like a leather trench coat. The same with the gloves. And then everything else, I kind of like wanted to add like details like from the comic panel itself, which is why you see like the black lines in between there, and then the feet, and in the hair too. And I really liked how it turned out. So I was actually surprised. This is my first time doing a sculpture. But I guess watching videos from a YouTuber called Dr. Guarda helped out with the materials and how to go about it with my tools.